If you are deconstructing or you have deconstructed from religion, particularly Christianity of some kind, you have maybe heard the phrase healed by the blood of the Lamb. I had an insight come to me the other day. This is probably about 4 days ago about this particular thing. And what came through kind of blew my mind. So I'm going to try to dissect it with you guys today in this episode and hang with me as I try to pull all these puzzle pieces together because it's an attempt to put an angle of awakening truth on this that I haven't really thought about before. So the other day I was listening to a YouTube video, another teacher, which I'm always trying to learn and grow myself, and something came through about bloodlines. And I have this understanding about how healing takes place through a bloodline. If you haven't heard my story about my own experience with my father after he passed away in 2020, I'll give you a little bit of a snippet of that before I move on. So, in 2020, my dad passed away of cancer. And after he passed away of cancer, he started coming to visit me. And I was in a very deep spiritual shift of my life. I had had a really, really intense spiritual awakening in 2016. I heard an audible voice that told me that I wasn't on my right path, that I was here to be a healer, that I was here to do healing work, and that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And so that really took my life on this path that was totally unexpected for me, but very aligned with where I was meant to go. Between 2016 and 2020, when my dad passed, I was going into a deep healing cycle in my awakening. I was attempting to see myself differently, get back in touch with spiritual gifts. I was deconstructing from Christianity. I was leaving the church. I was leaving jobs. There was a lot of different things happening in my life at the same time. Then in September of 2020, I was working in the mental health field. I worked in an inpatient facility for teenage girls. So if you don't know anything about inpatient psychiatric work, there are facilities that people can go. So it would be like a mental health facility. Adult could go for 3 to 4 or 5 days to get support. But there are still facilities around for teenagers where a parent or a guardian can take a child that they're struggling with, and this child can stay for up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, sometimes even up to a year. So I was working in a facility like this with teenage girls, and I knew my spirit was telling me this wasn't aligned because I'd had my awakening. I was really working through a lot of my own battles, trying to heal, doing some deep work. And I knew that spirit was saying to me, I had a direction, but I didn't really understand what that direction was at that time until September of 2020. Um, COVID hit in March before this all took place. Then I lost my job on September 18th. Then my dad died September 23rd. And then several other really intense experiences happened. And so within probably a 2 week period, my entire life changed. And I was forced into this deep meditative state. I had 3 months completely alone in my house, no contact with anybody. COVID had shut the world down. I had lost my job. I had lost my dad. I was in deep, deep grief. And so I had nothing other than to just go inward. The deepest inward healing I've ever had and been forced into in my life. And it was really, really hard. But I look back at that time now and I see what a blessing that was for me because it forced me into finding my path. It forced me into healing because I had discovered working in the mental health field for so long how many unhealed healers there are in the world. A lot of people that are attempting to help other people heal haven't done their own healing. And not that they're not helping or being supportive, but there is a difference between the frequency of a healed healer and someone that hasn't done the deep deep, dark energy work themselves. And so Spirit took me on my own journey before I even stepped into the healing field for supporting people with their spiritual ascension, clearing energy, reawakening to their inner truth, and manifesting a new experience for themselves. So, in that time where I was going deep, deep into my own dark energy, I was meditating a lot, asking Spirit for guidance, asking for support. And one day in meditation, my dad came through, as he did often after he passed, and he said to me, Ange, I need you to forgive me. And when he said that to me, I was kind of taken off guard because in my mind, I had already forgiven him before he even transitioned after, before he passed away. We had reconciled. I'd been spending time with him. I felt like things were good and I'd already forgiven him. But when he came through and explained to me, there's a difference between forgiveness and actually healing the trauma that I caused you. You can say, I forgive you, and I forgive you, and I forgive you, and I forgive you, but you may not be releasing that energetic cord or that dark energy that you pulled in from the experience that you had with me. So, when we have interactions with people in our lives, particularly a parent or someone, maybe a spouse or someone that interacts in a kind of abusive or negative way with us, we, especially as children, we pull in beliefs about who we are. We pull in beliefs about our identity. We pull in beliefs about our potential. We pull in beliefs about how we interact with the world around us. We really start to develop an identity around the interactions that we have with the humans around us, particularly in our childhood. From age 0, before you're born, you're beginning to pull in energy from your parents, and that energy then comes into the baby body. And then the baby comes into this experience and then grows up in this same energy. Sometimes the parents split, sometimes they stay together. There's all kinds of things that can happen for a unique path for each soul in their human experience. But like for my example, I'll just use mine as example. My dad left when I was very young. My mom and him divorced by the time I was 5 years old. He remarried very quickly within like 6 months. My mom remarried when she was 7, or when I was 7, and she married a very narcissistic man. My dad kind of was a little bit more absent for me, and my dad ignored me most of my life. Like, there were moments and times I would see him in public and he wouldn't even acknowledge I was alive. He wouldn't even say hi. He wouldn't even look my way. And it left me with this big abandonment rejection wound. And that happened to clear up into my 30s, up until I had my spiritual awakening in 2016. Very conflicted energy between my dad and I. And I understand it now from a spiritual point of view. And now that he's in spirit, he can explain to me why that interaction was taking place. It was his own wounds that he was projecting onto me, but I took them on as mine. I took them on as rejection. I took them on as I'm not good enough. I am not worth being noticed or seen. And so I didn't see myself. I didn't acknowledge myself, or I would spend a lot of time trying to find, joy in my life through connection with other people, but constantly was falling short from all these different things. And so from a young age, I had pulled in the energy and frequency from both my mom and my dad, and then started developing it based on experiences throughout my life. And this trauma was being built up inside of my physical vessel and my energetic body. And so as I was meditating this day, when he came through to me and said, Angie, I need you to forgive me, I didn't have a full grasp or concept of the need to heal versus the need to forgive. Because he explained to me, and it's different, because when you actually deal with and heal what I caused you, you are not only clearing out your energy and releasing that karmic cycle, you're helping me release this karmic cycle because I'm the one that caused the karma with you. So when you heal this, you're helping me clear my karmic energy, which I get to raise my frequency. I get to move on from this realm that he was in at that time, and he gets to create a new experience for himself. And in many ways, what I've come to understand and believe is that through my healing, I'm giving him the ability to no longer need to incarnate to the earth experience to clear out his own karma. So I am helping my bloodline to clear out their karma by me doing the healing work. Now, this is where it gets interesting. As he was explaining this to me, I didn't have this real true concept, but because I did deconstruct from Christianity and religion, I have a lot of biblical knowledge. I went to a Christian college, I have a degree in Bible. I spent a lot of time studying the Word of God. I read the Bible many times. I would take notes. And there is verses in the Bible that talk about Jesus being the healer, or the exact verse that it says is they will be healed by the blood of the lamb. So they would often in religion, in the church setting, they would compare Jesus's blood to the healing of the Christians, the followers of Christ. And as I was listening to this teaching the other day, and I was talking about bloodlines, all of a sudden this aha moment came to me, and I thought, oh my God, that is exactly what my dad was saying, was that they will be healed by the blood of the Lamb. It is not necessarily that it's Christ or Jesus himself that's doing the healing. It's that Jesus brought in the frequency of healing when he came to earth to teach us how to heal ourselves and how to reconnect with our truth. And in our own unique healing, we get to help clear the bloodline for the ancestors that we come in through. So when I'm here on earth in this particular timeline, as Angie, I am not only clearing out the energy for myself, I am helping to clear out the energy of spirits from family members that have transitioned already, most of them that are connected in some way to my soul frequency. And I am also, if I have any other incarnations on earth in any other human form, I'm also clearing out those energies from past lives or parallel lives. So I'm seeing this a lot with my clients right now, where I am noticing that they're having a lot of interaction with other lifetimes, with past lifetimes. And those some of the past lifetimes are merging into this current reality, and they're having interactions with a part of themselves that isn't even in this timeline. And I'm noticing when I look into their energy, I can see this particular human that they were as a spirit kind of struggling with an interaction with this current timeline. And so when this person in this timeline takes back control and does healing work, it releases the karmic energy in that timeline as well. So I know this is really complicated to follow, but basically what came to me was because energy is passed down through the lineage. It's not necessarily that we get the exact blood from our mother and father. We pull in the energy, and the energy lives in the blood. This is why Christianity or Jesus was described as the healer, the through the blood of the lamb that we are healed. Now, this took me on a little bit of a tangent because this is what I do, and I wanted to see where this verse was and the biblical reference to it. So, the verse that I want to bring your attention to, if you're a Bible scholar like I am, or you have been, you may have heard this verse before, but it's Revelation 12:11. And so, Revelation 12:11 says, they triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. So, this is a symbolic representation of what Jesus came to do, like a sacrifice. However, What I want you to see is that through your testimony, through your triumphing over your own ego, over the dark energy within you, you are overcoming the third world dimensional repression, and you're ascending into a new frequency, which is clearing out the bloodline for you and your family. Now, you are not responsible for the healing of other people. You are not responsible for your mom, your dad, your siblings, anyone else to heal. But they will benefit in some way from your healing, whether that's here on earth or after they transition. You do not need to worry about that part. All you need to worry about is yourself. So I want to emphasize that a lot of times we go into this thinking, oh man, I need to do this for my mom. I need to do this for my dad. I need to do this for my siblings. That is not necessarily the case. You are here for you, but what you do does impact all the energy around you. Now, because this verse comes out of Revelation, and I spent years studying Revelation before I woke up and had my awakening, because I was really, really drawn to end times. For some reason, something has kept pulling me towards the end times. I mean, I read Ezekiel and Daniel and Isaiah and Revelation. These are all books of the Bible that talk a lot about the end times. They're prophecies. So even in those times, there were mediums, there were psychics, there were channelers. They brought through information about what was to come, which we are currently living at this moment. So Revelation 12 is symbolic, and it describes, I have some notes here I'm going to share with you. It represents Israel, the church, or maybe even Mary. So Mother Mary giving birth to the child Christ. So in Revelation 12, there's a dragon, which is often representing of Satan or evil. And the dragon attempts to destroy the children, but he is caught up by God. A war breaks out where Michael and his angels defeat the dragon. And then the chapter speaks about the dragon being cast down to earth and the faithful overcoming through the blood of the Lamb and their testimony. So overall, it's a dramatic vision of spiritual struggle and victory. But let's look a little deeper into this. Besides just what we can read in our current language and current biblical interpretation, will say the other angle of it is the mirroring effect of an inner journey, overcoming the darkness within. Now, on another level, this also could be describing what we are now waking up to now on Earth of having repressed energy on the human consciousness. So the dragon could represent reptilian energy, and reptilians being cast down to the earth or being a part of the earth and holding the frequency of control based on manipulation, mind control, energy work, repression, hoarding of all the resources, taking things into their own narrative and then projecting that narrative onto the human conscious mind that keeps humanity in a repressed frequency where they don't have the money, they don't have control, they're looking for something outside of them to fix their lives. So a lot of repressed energy that comes through this dragon energy or the evil energy that we will say. So that's one lens to look at this, but it's also an inner birthing of understanding that you hold any energy that you hold, just like my dad said to me. It's not that I was those dark energies, the traumas that I got in my life and held in my body and my energy field. It's that those became my identity, and I functioned based on those until I acknowledged them and released them and overcame them. So the light overcame the darkness. but the darkness has to be seen and recognized in order for that shift to take place. So when I do my deep healing work, I'm releasing that dragon energy because the dragon energy has been coming at all humanity. I'm overcoming the dragon energy through the energy work, clearing the bloodline, clearing the energy so that higher consciousness to come through. So the dragon represents old fears, ego, collective shadows that we need to face. And it's us working against ourselves, against the energy that we have pulled in from the outside. No, we're not responsible for it. We are not responsible for it coming in, but we are responsible for releasing it. We are the karmic healers on earth at this time. And I am sending out into this video that those of you that watch this need to hear this at this time, that you are the karmic cycle breaker for your lineage. So whether you have awoken yet or not, or you found this or not, in the time that you understand it, I am believing that this is going to reach the people that need to hear their healing is making a difference, because healing is not easy. It is not something a lot of people want to go into because it's not easy. A lot of people resist it because uncomfortable feelings come up. Not only are you uncomfortable within yourself, but it starts to feel uncomfortable with the world around you. It starts to feel uncomfortable with relationship because the way you've done relationship changes. You might even start to feel selfish because you start to say no more, or you stop being so overly concerned about other people, and you start working on your own energy, understanding that we are the creators of our own reality. So therefore I can create my own reality. This is why we can't be too concerned about our mom and dad and siblings and whoever's healing around us, because we heal ourselves, and then that impacts the energetic field around us, which then can allow others to heal in that time that they're meant to. Some people are not going to be healing in this current reality or in this lifetime, but they will feel the energy of healing from you when they transition, just like my dad did. So my dad was able to be healed through the frequency of healing that I brought. So he does not have to repeat karmic cycles. He can move into the new earth if he so chooses to incarnate on an earth frequency again. He doesn't have to move into the third dimension, go through ascension, and come into the fifth dimension, because eventually the old world is going to go away. Now, the split that's taking place is not going to be like all of a sudden new earth is here and the third dimensional earth is gone. This split has been taking place for many, many years, and we are just like halfway through. Okay, hopefully this isn't backwards. It probably is. So this is what they have shown me is happening with the world right now. We have the third dimension and the fifth dimension, and many of us are here in the fourth dimension in this split. So there will be people that stay in the third dimension that is going to continue on this way, and people that are going to be shifting into the fourth and then fifth dimension. But we're right here in this split, and so this is splitting. It's not that the old earth is just going to suddenly disappear. It's that it's separating, and then eventually the old earth, the third dimensional world that we have known, will no longer be. It will not survive anymore. So it is like a transition, it's a passing away. Just like our body disintegrates into the earth, the old earth is going to disintegrate after like its spirit leaves itself. So it's almost like the earth is ascending out of itself. It's almost like when we die and our spirit leaves our body, the earth's spirit is leaving its body. So it's moving into a higher frequency. So as this split takes place, we are choosing based on our mind and how we interact with ourselves and the world around us, what we believe, what we've held in our energy field, what we're keeping in there, what we're not. We're choosing which direction to go in this. So are we going to ascend, or are we going to stay the same? Now, here's the thing, is that we think of staying the same as negative, but some of these souls have made a choice that that's how they would like to move through their process. They want to stay in a third dimension. They want to experience that. And I have this interesting way of looking at the third dimensional world and even fourth dimensional world as if like that's the whole point is to have these experiences. And if we were, I know in some reality there might be some argument with this, but in a third dimensional world, if everything was perfect, then it would be really boring for us. We would just be in our normal spirit self if there was never any challenges. But as we shift, the challenges shift, they change, they become less, and it becomes more about love and unity consciousness, about working as one. And there's an effort in that in working as one. So what is taking place is that we are overcoming the dark energy through healing ourselves, through healing the energy that came down through our bloodline. We're releasing that energy. We're tapping into universal frequency and love and unity consciousness. And then ascension, raising our conscious awareness, clearing the inner dragon, clearing the inner reptilian programming, coming back into our own power, and then moving into the fifth dimensional, more loving unity consciousness. It's like awakening to your true self. And in that process, you are contributing to the awakening of the collective of all of us and moving into a new earth. So we are not just healing for ourselves, our human selves. We are also healing for our lineages and for what we can even comprehend in our human mind, all the way back to the beginning of incarnating on Earth. So the work that you do in your own healing is significant and powerful. And this is what Spirit brought through to me about Christ consciousness and why Yeshua was considered to be the healer or the blood, the way, the truth, and the truth and the way of, and being the blood of the Lamb, clearing out the bloodlines, clearing out the cycles of reincarnation that have taken place on Earth for millions of years. And the spirits that have continued to come back and work through karmic cycles, not because they were forced, that's a whole nother topic that we'll go into another time, but because of the love they have for themselves and for the other souls they have engaged with. So had I not healed the energy my dad passed to me, my dad is so loving, he probably would have chosen to reincarnate with me in some other lifetime so we can work through that karma and heal that. So there might actually be people in your lifetime currently that you interact with, whether it's a friend, a spouse, a sibling, a coworker. It could be really anybody. It could just be somebody that passes through your life. Maybe somebody that you've knew for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden you quit talking or something happened. There's no accidents. We run into and we connect with the people that we need to connect with in this lifetime. Some of them are deeper connections than others. And these are usually the people that we're working something out with, whether you're helping them or they're helping you. So the interactions are important. And this is why holding love, being in unity consciousness, seeing one as yourself, helps you to understand what I do to you, I've done to myself. Because if I'm going to treat someone horrible, I'm going to end up having to come back with them and do this all over in some different way. It may not be the exact same circumstances. It may be a completely different way of interacting and different kind of relationship, but we're going to keep working on this together. So for somebody to be a volunteer, such as myself, that came to Earth purposely to clear bloodlines and to help other people to clear their bloodlines, my job as a healer is to teach you how to do this, how to help heal yourself so that you can clear out the energy and bloodlines so that you and your family and your loved ones, whether you got along with them or not, can ascend into a new frequency, raising their frequency, just like my dad raised his frequency when I began my own deep healing work. So this was a really interesting thing for me to dive into, and I wanted to share that with you because I want you to have a comprehension of when I don't want you to heal for them. I want you to heal for yourself, but understand that your healing is going to impact more than just yourself. That is how powerful we really truly are. I hope this was helpful for you. Again, if you're looking for support in any kind, I do private channelings. I have my Ascension membership where you can join for weekly channeling sessions with the Wisdom Keepers. And I also do one-on-one mentoring and healing work for people. Come over to my website, angieharris.org, see what would be aligned for you. If you don't know what that is, set up a alignment call with me. We can talk about what would be the best choice for you. So I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.